Hi guys, I want to show everyone how to create a nebulizer. And if you've never heard of a nebulizer, it's essentially an airbrush. And the tools that we're going to be using are a straw, and these straws kind of have a bendable neck, which is super helpful. And I went in and I actually cut some coffee stirrers, and they're just straws, they're just a little bit thinner. And here's what the nebulizer that we're going to create actually looks like when it's all said and done, okay? Because we're going to be able to utilize our nebulizer or airbrush. I just think of this as like a poor man's airbrush. So we're going to be able to put ink in our little cup, dip this side down in here, and then we're going to be able to blow on this end. And essentially what it does is the ink will basically get sucked up like a siphon out of this coffee stir straw, and when it's made correctly, it'll spit out because of the pressure of the air that you're blowing on. So it almost essentially like a spray paint type effect, or like I said, an airbrush. So the tools that we need on that I've already kind of got set up for you. I have a razor, and I've already done this for you, so I don't want you to feel like you need to do this because my whole thing is I want to make sure that everybody's safe. I already went in, and if you want to do this on your own, maybe with your parents, and all we're going to do is maybe kind of, I would say maybe eighth of an inch, maybe even 3/16 of an inch back. We're going to make a small little incision in the straw. And my blade is nice and sharp, and that's why I cut this for you, because I don't want to make sure anybody gets hurt. So all I'm doing is just making a small little incision, probably about an eighth of an inch. Okay, this coffee stir or this coffee straw, I went in, kind of cut it down to size because it was probably triple in size of what it actually was when I purchased it from the store. And all I want to do is, like when I look at it, and I don't know if we can get a good view of this, you can see there's a little slit, there's a little incision, okay? Um, and all we want to do is kind of smash this down a little bit. So it's basically pinching it. So I'm just going to go in, and you can pinch it with your fingers, or you can kind of bite down on it, but we're just trying to smash it so that it's not like so rounded. So it's almost kind of like a wedge. So you could kind of see that's been smashed. So I'm just going to bite down on it a little bit because the plastic is pretty stiff. So let's see if we get a better view. You can kind of see that it's been smashed. It's kind of difficult with this camera, but because I made that incision into the straw, and I made the incision on this long end because here's the movable part because we want to be able to use it. So all I'm going to do is insert it into the incision of the straw, and you don't want to get too aggressive because we don't want to smash the straw too crazy, too much, but hopefully, and I'll see if I could get the camera to focus. All we're trying to do is just gently back it out. So that's not we don't want this. We don't want this like all the way up to the front. We just want to gently back it out so that the straw, the way that it intersects here, is allowing for the ink or our pigment to kind of flow up out of this like a siphon. And then we need to tape it in place. So I have some tape here. I like the real shiny plastic tape, or just a Scotch tape. I don't have any currently at home for this demo, but I'm saying definitely make sure that the tape is not like masking tape. And all we're going to do is very gently kind of double it over on itself like so. And I don't think I got a long enough piece. No, I didn't, which is okay. So I got a piece probably about the size of an inch worth of tape. Okay, so this I know for a fact is going to work. I'm going to go in and I'm going to lay it down and kind of pinch it over itself. Okay, and what we're trying to do is create a nice seal. So we're trying to wedge off and seal it up. Okay, because we don't want a bunch of air to get in this little guy. So when we look back into the front of it, so let me see if I could refocus this. Cameras are tricky. I feel like I may have pushed it in a little bit, but I can still back it out just a smidge. Okay, because it's just tape. It's not like it's crazy glue. Okay, because we don't want that coffee straw sticking in there too much. There we go. So something like this is totally going to work. So now, when we get ready to do our symbol that we're going to spray or atomize with our nebulizer, it's very similar to what the Aboriginal handprints look like in the video that we watched. So I'm going to be able to go in and put in a couple drops of ink in this little ink cup, stick that down in there, and then I'm going to lay down my stencil or my mask based off of my initials or my last name or my first name. I'm going to get that taped down onto my paper, and then once it's taped down, I'm going to be able to go in and very gently figure out how much pressure you need to blow to get this ink to suck up out of this bottom of the ink and spray out the front. But it's a cool little process. But like I said, I tend to think of the nebulizer as a poor man's airbrush.